Okay then, so cheap carbon fiber cycle gear from AliExpress. It is the bread and butter of the Trace Fellow lunchtime baguette. So yeah, I've covered a lot of these topics in the past, but cheap carbon fiber cycle shoes, yeah, this is a new one. So 2,000 miles later, what's the verdict? Well, the fact I've told you I've ridden these 2,000 miles should give you some indication of the fact they're probably pretty good, but I need to put a question at the beginning of the video to entice people to watch towards the end. But how good are they really? Yeah, honestly, they're actually quite good. Right then, snappy little sponsor spot. Siroko, love these guys. They've been a sponsor for a while now, and they do some really great value cycle kit that looks great on the bike, washes well, lasts ages, and is super comfy as well. Everything from jackets, jerseys, gilets, bib shorts, cycle socks, cycle glasses, everything you need really. And I wear their stuff on every single ride I do. So yeah, if you want to help me out a little bit here on the channel and get yourself some wicked cycle kit, it's genuinely really good stuff, then yeah, use my link in the description below and save yourself 10% off your order with Siroko. Right, bish bash bosh, back to the episode. Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another, well, undeniably festive
dashing through the snow on a one-horse open
Trace Fellow production. My name, as always, is Luke. Right then, a couple years ago, some of you will know, I took a bit of a gamble on some cheaper cycle shoes from AliExpress. So they were essentially knockoffs of these Fizik Tempo R5 Overcurve shoes that I was wearing at the time. And when I first got them out of the box, well, should I say bag, yeah, initial impressions were pretty good, but soon enough the cracks started to show. So they were really flexy under load. The construction wasn't really very good at all. The lacing system started to kind of, well, was trashed basically after just a few rides, along with the cleat retention setup inside the shoe. It just wouldn't hold the cleats on the shoe properly. Now, after that experience, I vowed to stick with decent name brand cycle shoes. But as per usual, AliExpress got the best of me, and I ended up getting these. So these are a pair of lightweight carbon soled cycle shoes from a brand called Sidebike. I'm not sure if you can read that there. And yeah, I've been wearing these for the last 8 months. So what are they like? Well, it's worth pointing out, I've paid for all the shoes in this episode with my own cash. These are my personal shoes. So yeah, are they any good? Let's figure it out. Okay, so as mentioned, these shoes are from a brand called Sidebike, and first off, I love the kind of yellowy green neon accents on these shoes. I think they look really cool, in my opinion. They have that fully carbon fiber outsole, replaceable heel inserts, and a kind of double boa type lacing system. Now, in general, when kind of searching for cycle shoes on AliExpress, the majority of the stuff that you'll come across are these dirt cheap shoes with a kind of fake looking carbon fiber outsole, like this one here that's undoubtedly just plastic. So I would definitely avoid these if I were you. I can pretty much guarantee that for this price the quality is going to be pretty bad. But if you're willing to pay a little more, these Sidebike shoes often crop up. Now, I ended up paying 76 quid, but with those lovely fees imposed post-Brexit, yeah, that's another 20%, so just under 90 quid delivered. Now, as I am a massive fucking cheapskate, this price was quite difficult for me to swallow, but once I got them in the post, you can see here they were pretty well packaged up. And yeah, first impressions were good. I was genuinely impressed by the quality. So let's quickly compare them to my old favourites, these Fizik Tempo R5 Overcurve shoes, which, if you search around for a deal, are around the same price, maybe a few quid more, so it should be a good comparison. So yeah, let's go. Right then, I'm just sat here finishing up with the edit. So yeah, while this shot is being set up, if I could ask you to subscribe and maybe hit the like button as well, that'd be amazing. Yeah, I've said before, it's literally just me putting all this stuff together by myself. So yeah, any help at all would be amazing. And I am aware of the fact that I look really rough today. I think I picked up the flu a few days ago. So feeling perky. Anyway, I'll be fine. So yeah, enjoy the rest of the episode. I'm gonna go and get a lem sip. Okay, so firstly, the upper or the kind of main body, the main construction of the shoe. The materials are both completely different, but they're equally good really. So they're both nice and durable, they're both easy to clean, they hold their shape really well, and they're both quite scuff resistant too. So yeah, although they're different, they're kind of pretty much the same. They're equal in that regard. Okay, so these are the insoles out of the Fizik shoes here, and they're not too bad actually. So they offer a little bit of arch support there, and they're made out of a relatively stiff foam that contours to the foot, so offers a bit of support there. Basic, but gets the job done. Whereas these are the insoles out of the Sidebike shoes, just a floppy piece of foam there, no support offered at all really. Now to their credit, they are really comfortable, and these holes here offer some really good ventilation. So I wore them on the hottest day of the year this year, so it was 38 degrees C outside, and all these ventilation holes in here kind of helped air flow through the shoe and keep your feet cool. But yeah, in terms of a supportive insole, pretty much non-existent with these shoes. Okay, so the lacing system. On this Fizik here, it uses the official BOA lacing setup. So I'm sure you'll know, but you tighten them like so. You can loosen them one click at a time on the fly, which is super useful. And then if you want to undo the whole shoe, pull it out, and it loosens like that. So yeah, these things are really easy to use, super durable. This BOA stuff is basically the industry standard for this style of lacing. Now, you'll often see cheaper shoes, like this one, use a similar looking lacing system that's branded YO or YOW, which you can see there. The quality is pretty rough. I mean, they work okay when you tighten them up, but unlacing them is really difficult. I mean, you can see, really got to pull on them to get them to unlace all the way. They're just not very good at all. So I've used them for a while on these Teeding shoes here, and yeah, just not very impressive. They're cheap and they feel cheap. So yeah, I was initially a little bit worried about these Sidebike shoes because I'd never heard of or used this Atop lacing system before. Hopefully you can read that there. But these are just as good as the BOA ones. So you tighten them up the same way, like so, but rather than popping them out to loosen them, you just spin them the other way around and they come apart so easily. Yeah, really smooth operation, easy to adjust on the fly, super durable. Yeah, these things are great. Okay, so the outsoles on these shoes, as mentioned, the Sidebike shoes here have a full carbon fiber outsole, which you can see there. Whereas on these Fizik shoes, and most other shoes in this price range actually, you get a carbon fiber reinforced nylon plastic. So you can see there, it says fiber composite. And it's quite difficult for me to quantify, but I'll try and show you. The Fizik shoes bend relatively easily. You can see a bit of force, I can bend the sole there. Whereas if I get these Sidebike shoes here, I mean, they're really difficult to bend. It's quite difficult to show you, but these are much stiffer than these ones here. Now, I will admit there are arguments on both sides as to whether having a stiffer cycle shoe actually makes for better power transfer at the pedal, but I will say that I much prefer the feel of these Sidebike shoes when I'm out on the bike. They just feel so much stiffer than the Fiziks when you've got them on. And although I hate to talk in hyperbole, when you're kind of up out of the saddle, putting the power down in the sprints, you do feel a lot more kind of connected to the bike, if that makes sense. It probably sounds a bit crass, but it is true for me. I much prefer the feel of these. So yeah, a stiffer carbon sole, but the fact it's carbon should also make it lighter, right? Well, yeah, they do actually. So the Fiziks weigh 591 grams for the pair without cleats, and the Sidebike shoes, again, without cleats, and they're exactly the same size shoes, yeah, 491 grams, so 100 grams less. I mean, I have certainly paid more money to get less weight off of my bike setup here. But what's the final verdict here, and should you get yourself a pair? Well, let's figure it out. So the final verdict, well, I mean, I'm sure it's pretty obvious by now, but I really like these shoes. They ride really well. They're super stiff. I mean, I've had full 12-hour days in the saddle with these shoes on with no comfort issues at all. Plus, I mean, the quality of the materials and the quality of the construction with these Sidebike shoes is amazing. Easily on par with the Fiziks, if even like surpassing it slightly, I would say. Now, from what I found, these are pretty true to size as well. So I'm a size 10, so 44 EU. These are listed as 44 and they fit me perfectly. Now, I will say I don't have especially wide feet. So if you struggle to fit in within kind of standard shoe sizing, these don't come in a wide fit or anything like that. But for me, absolutely no problems in terms of sizing. And the overall durability of these things has been amazing. I mean, this turntable footage here was taken fresh out of the box, so I hadn't worn them at all at this point. But this footage here is the same shoes after 2,000 miles of riding in all weathers, really. And I think you'll agree, they look pretty good, almost box fresh, if you ask me. Plus, over and above the carbon sole here and the kind of inherent stiffness of this shoe, the thing that's made the most difference is having these two lacing zones. So with these Fiziks and most other shoes in this price point really, you have the one lacing system for the whole shoe to kind of tighten it up. Whereas having the two independent ones here means you can get the fit really dialed in, which is really nice actually. But what about value for these things? So normally when I shop on AliExpress, I just sort by cheapest first and go from there. But with these shoes here, I put a bit more money on the table and I'm really pleased that I did. So 90 quid might not seem like super cheap, but for a pair of lightweight carbon soled cycle shoes with two lacing zones, yeah, it's pretty damn good actually. So the closest thing from Fizik are the Aria R3s and they're about 190 quid. From Specialised, their Torch 3.0 cycle shoes, 230 quid. Or from Sidi, if you want ones with like a carbon outsole, I mean easily upwards of 200 quid. Now, with that being said, I'm sure you can find some deals on some of these bigger name brand cycle shoes, but I don't think that takes away from the fact that these are a great pair of shoes for the money, if you ask me. I mean, I've been starting to realize recently around here that if you're willing to spend a little bit extra on AliExpress, the quality of the stuff does shoot up quite significantly, actually. Anyway, with all that being said, I'm going to give you a little update on some of the other things I've got going on around here. It's the bonus clip time. Right then, firstly, as I know a load of you will be asking me, these toe covers that I've got on my shoes here that I've shown in a couple of the shots, these things are incredible. So they are from a brand called Gaio. Not sure if you can read that there. Yeah, they're super durable, keep the wind and the water off of your feet in kind of inclement weather. Best ones I've ever had. And these things are 8 quid on AliExpress. Can recommend. Also, while we're down here, these cleats that I've got on these shoes, these are from the Costello pedals that I reviewed a few months ago, and they're essentially knockoffs of Time Espresso cleats. And judging by some of the comments I read, I expected these to last like a few hundred miles. People always claim the durability is terrible on them, but I'm about 2,000 miles into these ones, and they look fine. I reckon I've still got about 800 to 1,000 miles left on them. So yeah, I mean, in my experience at least, they easily last as long as any SPD SL cleats that I've tried. Cleats that only last 3,000 miles. My cleats were handed down to me from my grandfather. I shall pass them on to my children. And last little update for you, I've actually upgraded the mechanical disc brake calipers on this AliExpress build I did a few weeks ago. So I was initially running these Z-Race hybrid hydraulic calipers here, and I was pretty impressed with the braking performance of these, but I've subsequently upgraded to the Juintech GTs as promised. So yeah, I'm fulfilling promises made in previous videos. So yeah, I've had them on for about 200 miles up to this point, and they are honestly really good actually. They do offer better braking than these Z-Race ones, but I don't know how much of that is down to the fact that I've had to upgrade to 160mm disc rotors. So I was running 140s front and back when I had the Z-Race ones on. So I'm gonna get better braking performance for that, you know, on its own, but I still think these are a better caliper. So I'll do a back-to-back test at some point in the near future. So yeah, get subscribed so you don't miss that, because these are honestly some of the best hybrid hydraulic calipers I've ever used. Whether they're worth 230 quid, the jury's still out on that one, but honestly, these are really good. So yeah, stay tuned for that video. Anyway, that is all that we've got time for in this episode of Trace Fellow. So yeah, subscribe if you like this kind of thing. Hit the like button if you've enjoyed this thing that I've made for you this evening in my freezing cold garage. It is really, it's too cold in here. If I was a school child, I would, you know that rumor that if the classroom is too cold, you get to go home. That's what I'd be saying right now, but I'm sticking it out. Anyway, hit the like button. And if you've got any questions or comments for me about these shoes here or anything really, then the comment doesn't have to be prefaced with baguette emojis, but I mean, it is recommended really. Anyway, I'm gonna go and warm up because my core body temperature is dropping rapidly right now. So yeah, anyway, I'll see you later. Ciao, ciao. Zing.